I have something really crazy to tell you.
What's up?
I'm moving to Mexico.
Oh my gosh, are you serious?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Today is Thursday, July 6th, and on Monday night, I booked my flights to Cabo for October 1st through December 20th. And now I am about to book my Airbnbs, and I literally feel like I could throw up. And that's how I felt after I booked the flights too. It's very exciting, but it's very scary as well.
Alright, so the Airbnbs are booked for October, and then I started looking at excursions, and I already started crying because Cabo is just so beautiful, and I can't believe that I'll get to call it home, even if it's just for a few months. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen whenever I go for the 3 months, if I decide if I love it and I'll want to stay, but I just feel like it's going to be life-changing, and I'm so excited, and I literally cannot wait. I can't believe I'm actually doing it. It's so much more real now that the flights and my living situation. It's literally July 6th, and they're still doing fireworks. Anyway, that's how I feel inside, I guess. Very excited. It's real.
Today is July 14th, and I have some time, so I'm going to do a get ready with me and talk a little bit more about Cabo, because it seems kind of random that I would choose to move there. I'm from St. Louis, but actually I'm from St. Charles, which is the next county over. People don't really leave here that often, so whenever they do, it's interesting, especially going somewhere like Mexico. It's not really heard of around here, so I just want to talk about why I decided to make that decision. And I have time, so I'm going to do a get ready with me. Do people call that get ready with me on YouTube? Did I already say that? Anyway, let's talk about it. So last summer, my mom, sisters, and I went to Cabo for the first time. It was all of our first time ever going, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It was so beautiful. I lived in Las Vegas for a summer, and so I like the desert. I love Southern California, so I like just the desert feel, but also I love that the ocean is there. I have to be by the water. That's how I feel. I'm in the Midwest. There's no water here, so I just feel like I need to be somewhere where there's water. So Cabo is very ideal for me. Of course, we're on vacation. I'm in love with it. I'm talking to my mom. I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to move here. Of course, everyone says that on vacation. My mom was like, oh my gosh, yeah, you should move here. You never studied abroad in college. It would be a good experience for you, whatever. So we're just talking about it. I'm thinking about it. I just literally love it, even though the beaches there are not swimmable. So the only time we ever swam was whenever we went to an excursion. We went sailing and we snorkeled in, oh my god, I cannot think of the name of it, Santa Maria, whatever, a little bay area, I think. Anyway, that was the only time I ever got in the water that was not the pool. So, and we stayed in San Jose del Cabo, which is the other side of Cabo. There's two sides if you don't know. San Lucas is the touristy side where the marina is, and all the bars and spring breakers go to Cabo San Lucas, and then San Jose del Cabo is more laid back and more local, and that's where we stayed, and I really liked it, and that's actually where I will be staying whenever I go and I stay there. So from our trip, I brought back these rocks. Look at it. I brought back these rocks from our trip, and then the seashells, generic, but I brought these back, and I've just always had them in my room. I feel like these rocks are very Cabo. And then I also brought back a pamphlet from the excursion that we did whenever we went sailing, and I also brought back just a Visit Los Cabos, I don't know, informational magazine from our hotel that we had. I have always just kept these in my room and looked at them. And I think that has helped the obsession stay alive in my heart. So anyway, that was last July that we went there, and ever since then it's just something that I've thought about. Like, I came home and I was like, oh my god, I really want to move to Cabo. I'm obsessed. It's beautiful. I really want to go. I'm single. I have no kids. I live at home. Like, there's nothing that's tying me here except my family, and I've never been away except for Vegas. I went for one summer, but I knew that I was coming back, so it was a little bit different. I went to college only an hour and a half away from here. I went to Mizzou, so that wasn't really that far either because I came home all the time. So moving to Cabo would be like a huge change. And as a kid, I literally could never spend the night away from home. Like, I was one of those. I had such bad anxiety. And I still have bad anxiety. It's just interesting that I have like felt so called to like go to Cabo. But now it's been almost a full year since we originally went on our trip, and I'm still thinking about it, and I booked my trip to go, and I'm leaving in October, which is insane. But it just hasn't been an impulsive decision. It's been a year in the making that I've been thinking about it, that I've been talking about it, that it's been on my heart, that I've felt pulled to do it. It's weird. I don't know how to even explain it. Came home and I would just look at videos of Cabo. I'd look at our pictures and I would cry. And I've never really felt that way about any other trips that I've been on. I don't know if that's normal or not. I've never really gone out of the country though. I went to Mexico, to Cancun, whenever I was in 3rd grade, and I almost drowned. So that's a whole other story. I don't know, like, is that like a normal experience, just like after you go on a trip? Maybe. But I've never experienced that. Then in January or February of this year, I decided to start doing some research about Cabo because I really felt so pulled to it still. Like, it was something that I still would always think about. I felt like I would see signs about it. Like, I'm definitely someone that's very into signs. I'm spiritual in that way. I joined this Facebook group that was for people from like the United States and Canada that have moved to Cabo. And I made a post in there and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about moving there in September, because one of the main reasons that I live at home still is because one of my sisters will be 16 in September, and I help drive them places. So whenever my sister turns 16, then she'll be able to drive places and I won't really have a purpose of being here anymore. So then I was like, okay, I won't like feel so bad if I leave then, and then I can save money until that time. So that was kind of my thought process back then. So that's why I posted, and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about moving there in September, you know, just making an introductory post. And I talked to some people, talked about housing, started doing a lot of research on the areas. I knew that I loved San Jose del Cabo, but getting to talk to people that have actually moved there and telling me their experiences, saying how they actually feel a lot safer there than in some of the major cities that they lived in here in the United States, made me feel a lot more reassured that I would be okay there. It's obviously scary to go do something and travel by yourself, especially to a foreign country whenever you're not fluent in the language. Yo hablo un poquito español, pero no soy fluida. So I'm not fluent, but I speak a little. I feel like I can get by. I practice my Duolingo every day. It's getting better, but it's not perfect. I also feel a lot more confident since I talk to people that live there, because they say you can speak English most places. It's become a lot more Americanized, which is good and bad, I guess. There's pros and cons of that. I don't know. Anyway, I had connected with people back then at the beginning of this year and had conversations with them. And then I decided, okay, like, I need to put a pause on this. I don't know if I still want to do this. I don't know if I still want to go to Cabo. I reconnected with an old friend this year, and then I got to a place where I really feel really happy and really content with my life now. It's where I am the happiest I've ever been. And I'm enjoying my time with my friends so much. It's such a hard time for me to leave. So I kind of like got to a point where I was like, okay, like let me put a pause on this. But I would still see signs that like pointed to Cabo, and then it would like spark something so deep in my soul that was like, okay, like you need to go. And I started thinking about it a little bit more again in May or June. And when I started thinking about it again, I'm not kidding, one of the girls who I had connected with in January or February messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, did you make the move? Like, she literally messaged me that the next day. And I was like, I just started looking at places again on Airbnb, and you messaged me, that's crazy. And she was like, isn't it crazy what the universe does whenever you take a step forward? The universe will reassure you that you're on the right path. And I was like, yeah, it is really crazy. So that made me feel good, because when I started thinking about Cabo again, I also started thinking like, okay, will I be satisfied somewhere in the United States? Moving to Mexico, that's like a whole other obstacle. Like moving to another country is a lot more challenging than moving to another state. And so I'm like, of course I want to move to another country. Can't do anything the easy way. I started looking at places in Florida. I was like, would I be okay somewhere in Florida? Like, I don't necessarily love Florida. And Florida is also getting expensive. I ideally would want to be in Southern California if I stayed in the United States, but that is way too expensive, especially just by myself. I started looking at places in Florida. I started looking at TikToks on Florida of like underrated places in Florida to live that are by the beach. And then I started looking at places like for rent, and I was just like, this is not speaking to me the same way that Cabo does. So I started looking at places in Cabo again, and then that girl messaged me the next day, and I was just like, the timing is bizarre. So that was just like one of the craziest signs to me that like, okay, I should be going to Cabo. I told my mom a couple weeks after that I really wanted to move there, and she was really not about it at first. I think something that's just so different is hard for people, especially in this area and like the environment that I grew up in, to understand. I haven't told my dad yet. I'm a little bit nervous for how he'll respond. I could see him going either way. Like, he might think it's cool, but I also think he'll be like, that's so dangerous. Why are you going to Mexico? He doesn't really travel at all, like even in the United States. So I feel like he won't really understand at all. I don't know. People here live in a bubble. So some of my friends that are not my super close friends have not been the most excited for me either, which doesn't feel great, to be honest. After I originally told my mom, she was not very, like, she wasn't for it. We didn't really have a conversation about it until like a week or 2 weeks after I originally told her. And then she was like, I think you just need to do it. Like, you just need to do it as soon as possible. And I was like, what? Are you just like trying to get rid of me? And she was like, no, I just think, like, why are you putting it off? Because I was going to wait until January to go. And she was like, why are you waiting until January? Like, you just need to go. There's never going to be a right time to go. Like, how much more money do you think you're really going to save between, like, now and then? You know, just, like, asking me, like, all these questions that like, the objections and reasons that I had in my head. So we talked about it, and she was, like, very encouraging. I was like, okay, realistically, like, when do you think that I could go? And she's like, August. And I was like, no, I cannot go in August. So I have one of my best friend's bachelorette trips in August. We're going to Fort Lauderdale, and then she's getting married in September. So I'm not going to go until October 1st. So that's kind of like the plan. And so once I had that conversation with my mom and I knew that she was like supportive of me, then it like got a lot more real, and I was like, okay, like I can just go, like I can just do it. I don't have to wait. I can just go now. So then it got a little bit more real, and I started thinking more about it. Did some more research on things, on areas, posted again in the Facebook group, and was like, hey, I'm coming in October. Does anyone have any place to stay? Like, because a lot of people own rental properties down there. Just kind of like gave my scenario. And a lot of people messaged me. I kind of became friends with a girl on there, so I have at least one friend down there, which is very exciting because I think that's the scariest thing is like I literally will have no friends there, and I didn't really think about that part of it. I just like don't want to be lonely and sad, especially because right now like everything here with my friends is amazing and great, and I've been having so much fun with them. It's gonna be really hard to like leave that scenario, so that's like definitely one thing that I thought about, but now I have one friend, so excited about that. I'm hoping that I'll be able to work virtually while I'm there, but I still haven't talked to my boss yet, because she's been out of town, and then we've been working from home this week, so I definitely need to talk to her. I'm definitely nervous to do that, but I'm just going for 3 months, so hopefully it will be okay. So I'm someone that's like super open, and I love talking about things, and I love sharing things. I love posting things, like especially on my stories on like Instagram and stuff. And I haven't been able to say anything about this because I still haven't talked to my boss. And it's been really hard for me not to say anything. And I also just like want to be able to talk to her about it and like share my excitement, and I know she'll be excited for me too, so I just need to like get it over with. But still scary conversation to have, so that's like something that I've been anxious about. This has been occupying my mind. Cabo has been occupying my mind so much since I booked everything, and it's very frustrating because it's fun to think about and it's really exciting, and I'm super excited, but it's like the only thing I can think about. I'm like, oh my gosh, like what are all the fun things I'm gonna do when I'm there? I'm like making a mood board on Canva. I'm making like vlog video ideas. Like I'll get random ideas for videos in my mind. I'll like be picturing videos in my mind, like of all the content that I want to do. I do film photography too. I have a film camera, 35mm. So I want to bring that, of course. So I'm like thinking about that, like all the cool photos that I'll be taking. I don't know. It's just like I cannot like not think about it for 1 second of the day, which is really hard. It's fun to think about, but it just is too much, especially at night, like trying to go to sleep. I have not been sleeping well. It's just like my brain just doesn't stop. I try to like get all my ideas or anything that pops in my head about it into my notes app. That way it's out of my brain, and that helps, but I just seriously, I can't stop. It's sick. So last night I booked an excursion, the one I'm the most excited about. The one thing that I was like, I have to do this while I'm there. It's like no ifs, ands, or buts. Like I'm doing it. And that is swimming with whale sharks in La Paz. And I'm really nervous for that because I don't even like snorkeling with fish. Like I hate fish. Whenever we went snorkeling last summer in Cabo, I literally was like, oh my god, get me out of here. Like I don't like seeing the fish. Like I just do not like fish. So don't know how it's gonna go being with a giant shark, literally the world's biggest fish, and a shark nonetheless, but it's a filter feeder, so they're very docile and very calm. It's not dangerous. I think it'll be very like a spiritual experience for me, but I think I'm gonna be a little scared. I'm hoping that like when I tell my dad I'm going, that he'll like want to come down while I'm there, and that he'll go with me, because I think that would be a really cool experience for us to do together. Our nickname, because of our last name, is Jaws, so we love sharks in this family, and I just think that it would be really cool if he would get out of his comfort zone and come visit me. I don't think he like actually would, but I would love if he did that and if we got to like experience that together, because I just feel like that's once in a lifetime, and I'm really excited for it. I've been looking at videos of that and also crying. There are a ton of other things I want to do too while I'm there. Like obviously I'll go on boat tours and stuff like that. I think it also depends on which friends are visiting, what they want to do, because all my friends have said they want to come visit, and I'm like, yes, come visit. So we'll see who actually does end up coming down while I'm there. I hope that they all do. I would really love that. I feel like that would be the best experience ever, and it would make the 3 months even better for me, especially since I don't know anyone there. And since this is such an experience for me that like I feel like I would just like love to share that with my friends. I don't know, but I know it'll all work out how it's supposed to. Like if only a few come or if one comes, because my girl Riley's supposed to go with me to like drop me off, because I know I'm gonna be freaking out. So if only she's the one that ends up coming the whole time, that'll be sad, but also might be good for me because I'll really get to like know myself and be comfortable being totally alone. I've never lived completely alone before, but also will that make me really depressed? Hopefully not. Hopefully I'll just be really happy, but I could see myself getting depressed and feeling really isolated. So I do worry about that too. That's been on my mind. I'm really hoping it's not. And then yeah, I got kind of sad whenever I booked the whale shark excursion, because I have to do that by myself unless someone's there that wants to do it with me, or I meet someone that wants to do it with me. It's kind of sad because I imagine everyone else that will be on the tour will be like together with someone at least, and not just like a loser by themselves like me. So that made me like a little bit sad to think about, but that's okay. I'm sure everyone will be nice and I'll make friends. I like kind of feel sad about it for real, but that's okay. Just like thinking about everyone being with someone and just like me being by myself. It's okay, I'm gonna grow. I'm gonna grow from this experience. I'm so brave for doing things like that. We'll see how that goes, but I also want to do like a tequila tasting, a cooking class. I saw on Airbnb there's like an excursions tab, that there's like a Mexican pottery class where you can learn traditional Mexican pottery and like the history of it, I think. So there's just like a ton of different things that I will find to do, and like something like that I would love. Like I could totally be fine doing by myself. I just felt sad about the whale excursion thing because I just feel like that's such a unique once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'll be like alone. Okay, stop talking about that so like negatively. Sad. What else should I do? Art walk in San Jose del Cabo, because obviously I'm staying on that side anyway. Uber, I heard, is really cheap there, so I can Uber to Cabo San Lucas and do things over there too. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else like really crazy I want to do. You can also go to La Paz and swim with sea lions, so I do kind of want to do that also, but I guess that's only in December, so I guess we'll see how it goes in November. I'm swimming with the whale sharks in November, so I want to see how I like it, because the La Paz one too is not with an excursion company, it's with a marine biologist. The one that I saw on Airbnb, I'm sure I could find something else too. So that's more private, I think, and so I would have to find a way to even get to La Paz, so that's more up in the air, but I would love to do that too because it looks sick. I went sailing last time, like true sailing where you're like holding on to the sailboat for your life. Didn't like it, so I will not be sailing again. I'll do a catamaran or a yacht or a regular boat. I need to go to Lovers Beach. We didn't do that last time, and I would love to go there because you can actually swim at that beach. I don't know if anyone else has any recommendations of what I should be doing while I'm there. Let me know. And if anyone's going to be there in November and wants to go swim with the whale shark with me, let me know that too. Also, I want to have a going away party, and I don't know if that's stupid because I'm only going away for 3 months, but I love an excuse to have a party. Alright, you'll have to forgive me if my thoughts were all over the place and if this wasn't the best video, because I'm learning. I'm new to YouTube. I'm a TikTok girly, and I'm barely a TikTok girly, so please bear with me. I'm learning, I'm practicing. I know I'll get better as I go. But thanks for watching. I know I should say that. No, I need like an outro. What should my outro be? Oh, it should be something Spanish, like adios, hasta pronto. Hasta luego. I'll think of something good, I'm sure. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and you want to follow my adventures in Mexico, be sure to subscribe, and you can follow my other social medias at Lexi Jaws. I'll plan to post on TikTok every single day. I don't know how much I'll be posting on Instagram. I'm trying to post on there more often. And YouTube, I don't really know my exact plan for it yet. My kind of idea in my head is that I'll do weekly vlogs, but I might post twice a week, depending on what I do. If I do an excursion or something, I'll post that, or if there's something else that I want to post throughout the week, I'll do that for sure. Just going with the flow, but I'm very excited to share this adventure with you guys, and thank you so much for the support. I'm gonna have like 2 subscribers and be like my 2 friends, 2 of my friends.
Hey, and me.
And my family. Anyway, see you next time.